Hi, this is a tutorial video on how to import OpenStreetMap to a GPS unit. Some folks out there might be wondering why you'd want to do this in the first place, especially in the United States when we have such great digital road files that are commercially available. Well, you might want to add some things like trails or brew pubs, or let's say there was an earthquake in Los Angeles and you needed to quickly map out where closed roads were. A lot of foreign countries don't have digital road maps at all, or very poor ones. You probably have your own reason for wanting to put OpenStreetMap on a GPS, so let's get started. We're going to have a look at a couple different methods to import OpenStreetMap. The first and the easiest is to use files that have already been created. If you Google this OSM map on Garmin download, this wiki page will come up and list places where you can download these files that have already been sliced and diced. This one's a mountain bike one in Europe, in Germany. Lots of them all over the world, and unfortunately in the US there aren't so many, but we're going to have a look at one. It doesn't allow for you to use map source to put it onto your GPS, but we'll have a look at that later. So we're going to go here and we're going to go onto their server, pick the most recent date taken from OpenStreetMap, and then a longitude of an area that we're interested in, and save it. These files are big, some of them. This one is 500 megabytes. It took a while. You could use a program like Google Earth to figure out what longitude coordinates you might need to work. The next thing we're going to do is have a look at a program to make our own files. It's called mkgmap, and there's a wiki page for where you download this program. It is a command line program, so if you're not used to command line programs, hopefully you can stick with the tutorial here and make it happen. So download it, extract it, and it will create some directories, and I'm going to clean up those directories a little bit. I'm going to move the contents that were extracted to a higher level and delete those empty folders underneath there, just a little house cleaning. The program is the file there that has the extension JAR. When you install a program like this, it's not going to have a bunch of fancy graphics and ask you questions. You just extract it. Once you have that ready to go, the next thing you're going to do is go back to OpenStreetMap and pick an area that you're interested in, and then download that. The area that you're interested in will show up on the screen there, latitude and longitude. After you hit the export tab, you can manually change those numbers of the area you're interested in, and then you pick the OpenStreetMap choice to download. That's the file type we're going to use. When you save it, you give it a name that's meaningful to you. It doesn't really matter. You need to save it in the same directory as the mkgmap jar file, the program file. Makes it easier. So then now comes the scary part. We're going to dive right in to the command line, start, run, then type CMD for command line. Hit OK, and you'll get a black screen. Here it comes. You're going to want to change the directory to the same so that the program is executing where that jar file is. So if you go to your Windows Explorer and copy that path and then paste it, you do CD for change directory space, and paste the directory information where the program is located. After that, you're going to go and run the program. We're going to go back to that wiki page, and there's some instructions there lower on the page, and you're going to copy that and insert that into the command line, just the first part of that. And then after that, where he's got data OSM, that's just the file name example. You're going to put your file name, so right click, paste that bit of information, space, and then you could, if you remember it, type in the file name, but an easy way to cheat is make sure it's right, is to copy it and paste it. Hit enter and it should run. You won't see anything other than a new prompt, and so then you need to go check the directory to see if the file is there. Before we do that, we're going to have a look at the GPS unit where you're going to put that file. It's in a folder called Garmin, and in this case I have a micro SD card that I put in an adapter and could plug it in the machine, and it's the easiest way to transfer data. You might not, you'll have to figure that out. So the file that was created by that program has this number for some reason. That's, I don't know why. You're going to move that over to that directory in the Garmin folder and change the name to GMAPSUPP. That's the file that it uses for a backdrop. If you have something in there else, that whatever was existing that you want to keep, you can rename it and save it and then change it later. So in this case I'm just going to add some miscellaneous letters and go back to this numbered file that was created by the program and paste that name in there. So now the GPS unit will look at that file. That image file should have the picture, so to speak, of what you exported out of OpenStreetMap. So you should be able to take that micro SD card, stick it back in the GPS unit, turn it on, and see if your image works. There are some ways to create image files with some other programs. I'm going to talk about one real briefly for creating topographic maps for Garmin devices. If you go to that page, have a look at it. You'll know right away if that looks like something that you can tackle. Your average person probably wouldn't want to go there. You can do some more advanced things with the mkgps program as well. Have a look at that wiki page. And hopefully this will get you started in creating some files for your GPS unit from OpenStreetMap.